breaking the fourth wall. People usually know what it means, because it's usually very clear, very black or white. There either is or there is not. With movies, for example, it's super easy. There's this isolated, separate world in which events happen independently from what the viewer does. These two worlds are divided, and then sometimes a fourth wall break happens, in which the viewer is addressed directly. If that happens, the fourth wall is broken. It's simple to identify. But what about video games, which rely so very heavily on player input? The user influences and controls what happens. There's an inherent connection between the game world and the real world. The game world requires active participation of the player. As it says in this paper here, activity and passivity are fluctuations in video game play, not complete opposites. Therefore, it is impossible to consider the player as a separate part of the video game that is continuously in or out of the magic circle. So what really is a fourth wall break in a video game, considering the fact that the player must be part of it in order for the medium to be a video game in the first place? If there was zero player influence, then it wouldn't be a video game. With zero input, zero influence, it would just be a movie. So do all video games have fourth wall breaks? Are video games fourth wall breaks? As you can probably see, this is less clear. Is this here a fourth wall break? The game very clearly lays bare its artifice, admitting to being a game. I highly doubt the character sees an A button and a text box floating around there. This is for us. It's necessary, because it's a game and we need to influence it. Anyways, what I would consider a video game fourth wall break is when 1. A game character addresses or talks about the player directly. 2. A game character is self-aware about being in a video game. 3. The boundary is purposely broken in a way that is not necessary. An A press to continue is pretty necessary. There's not really a good way around it. But knocking on the camera screen, crashing against it, or having it break? Not necessary. Which brings us to Banjo-Kazooie. With this kind of long introduction out of the way, the very first fourth wall break, and we can probably all agree that this is one, happens only a few seconds after opening the game. Banjo knocks on the camera or on your screen and gives you a thumbs up. If you skip the tutorial and keep calling bottles, you will eventually get this. Mambo is also self-aware of being inside of a video game. Here he says, "Me Mambo, best shaman in all game." The next one is rather rare, but it can happen that Mambo talks about a T-Rex spell, but then says, "Changed mind. T-Rex spell too good for this game. Mambo safe for next game." True, though it is Humba Wumba's magic in Tooie. There's also the ending cutscene where we get, "No way, me and Banjo were the stars of this game," and where they talk about the next game. This excites all of them, of course. Mambo's jaw dropped in awe. Understandable. Banjo-Tooie make Banjo-Kazooie look like joke. And of course there are many instances of addressing the real life outside of the game controller inputs, which is reinforced in Tooie by even showing them. But Tooie of course starts with Bottles dying, and Kazooie's, he wasn't the favorite character in Banjo-Kazooie anyway. Bottles disagrees, saying, "I was the star of Banjo-Kazooie." To his brother Chamchars, Kazooie says, "Bottles taught us loads in the last game. There are no more tickets. They all sold out while you were playing Banjo-Kazooie. And watch it, this is a family game." In Pterodactyland, after all of Terry's children are back, Banjo says, "Thank goodness. Kazooie won't want to see another egg for the rest of the game." And after you agreed to help Scroddy, she says, "It's nice to know not every character in this game is bad." Right before the last Klango fight, Kazooie talks about the music. After you beat Grunty, Grunty famously talks about Banjo 3. Fourth wall breaks can enrich or ruin a game, depending on the player's subjective opinion and the way they are implemented. In a joyful, childish, goofy children's game that doesn't take itself too seriously, it can be quite charming, provide a unique experience, and strengthen the connection and relationship between the player and the video game character. The player might feel more involved and integrated on a more personal level. On the other hand, however, if you play a very cinematic, realistic looking game that's very story rich and deep, then fourth wall breaks can break the immersion, ruin tension and drama, and just feel disruptive. Ultimately, I personally like Banjo's fourth wall breaks, and as a little hint, they might also appear in a certain upcoming 3D platformer I hinted at recently. And that's my video on fourth wall breaks in Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. If you liked it, then there's a like button for you. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. Bye!